the sugar your tooth is, and some salt. For flavor, I will be using nutmeg. Then I'll now bring in my flour, mix everything perfectly. Your puff batter is supposed to be really stretchy. If yours is so hard, you can go ahead and add a little bit of water until you reach this consistency. So whenever you can now see that it has doubled in size. I'll just take off this transparent. Then I will squeeze and catch the puff like this. So just try to carry the puff in your hand in such a way that you can scoop out 2 to 3 puff in one go, or if you cannot do 2 to 3 at once, carry in such a quantity that you can just scoop out just once. But the one in my hand now, I can scoop out like 2 or 3. So what you do first is you squeeze and catch. This is how you mold it. No matter how you want to cut the puff, you have to mold it like this first. So the first step, you squeeze it between your thumb and the index finger. So we're going to try again one more time. Scoop out the puff or take the puff from the bowl. Then squeeze and catch. Squeeze and catch like this. Hurts easily. So like this. I'm just trying to put it in slow-mo so that you guys can easily get it. So your thumb and your index finger, and you cut it like this. Squeeze it. Squeeze your thumb and your index finger like that, and you cut it. Or which one is better? So for the second method right here, we are just gonna take some of that again. Using a spoon, just try to grease the spoon with some cooking oil. Then, as usual, mold the puff as I told you before. Then use a spoon to cut. If you're having difficulties with your index finger and your thumb to squeeze it, just use a spoon. You mold it like I told you before. You squeeze and catch. Then you cut with a spoon. Trust me, you're gonna have beautiful shapes. Yeah, and that's it. So for the third technique, you're going to use, some people love using like their thumb and their little finger to cut it like from under. It's just like the opposite direction from the first step I told you. So instead of using the thumb and the index finger, you're going to be using your thumb and your little finger instead to cut it. So that's the third one. And the fourth one, I know many people are going to be doubting like, oh, which kind of a one is this? But trust me, some people just like using this method. I won't lie to you. So in the pan, I'm just gonna plastic bag. Then I just transfer everything inside. You see that it is a non-stick. The puff does not stick to it. So trust me, when you're scooping out the puff off, everything is gonna come out from the bottom. Some people like this method, trust me. So what do you do with this one, the bottom? You press it out, then you use those kitchen scissors, guys, and you cut it like that. You see how that is? So let's get to start frying. That's the first step I told you guys. You squeeze with your thumb and the index finger like that. Just watch closely how it's done, and trust me, you're going to achieve perfect round shape of puff. This was the second step, using a spoon has really come in contact with the batter. And the next, we have this easy and super easy method. I just curd it like that. That's all you need to do. So guys, you can see our puff is beautiful looking. It has a round shape. And let me know in the comment section which is your favorite method, and maybe we can learn something new from you. Tell us another method you think might help other people to achieve better round shape of puff. So now I'm just gonna cut it and see how it looks inside. But I know this recipe is the perfect one. I have been using it many times.
I cut it in half like this and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Now I squeeze butter over the top. Using a kitchen brush, I spread the butter all over the chicken. And before I forget, Let me know what city you're watching from so I can send you a special shout out. Today's shout out goes to Olivia Barnes from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm so happy you're enjoying our recipes. Now in a pan, I add 1 tablespoon of butter. Once it melts, I add 9 cloves of garlic and fry them well. I set the garlic aside. Let me know what you think of the recipe so far. Next, I place the chicken in the pan and sear both sides. I love trying new recipes, and this one is worth every minute. I remove the chicken and place it in a baking dish. In a bowl, we add 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of paprika. I mix everything until it becomes a thick, smooth sauce. Then I brush the whole chicken with this sauce and cover the dish with foil. Now in a pot, we add 500 grams of potato. Add water to cover and let it cook for a few minutes. Meanwhile, I place the chicken in the oven at 356 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. In another pan, I add a drizzle of olive oil, spread sliced onion, and add half a red bell pepper. Sauté everything well. Back to the potatoes.